afternoon, everybody. Welcome to our meeting today. We really appreciate you all being here. We have a full docket as usual. And first order of business is the approval of our minutes from our last meeting back on January 6th. Is there a motion to approve?
Second.
Second. All right, motion seconded. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Very good. Motion has been accepted. On to the next order of business. Soccer Village Properties LLC, a presentation regarding the Swope Soccer Village annual update by Dave.
Yes, David Fickland.
All right.
Stage is yours, and it looks like you got a slideshow.
Good afternoon, Commissioners.
Afternoon.
I think I'm going to have to stand over there to run the slideshow, so I will speak up. Oh, right, yes.
Stay at the podium. Started.
Yep, that worked.
On your cue.
Okay. That's good, because I wanted to take just a minute and remind everyone how we got to where we are. In 2007, when the ownership group bought the then Kansas City Wizards from Lamar Hunt, we desperately needed a place to train. And so in a really landmark public-private partnership, we came to the parks, to you, and suggested that, asked if you would be willing, if we could build a training center in Swope Park, and began a fantastic growth pattern for soccer and for bringing people to this part of Swope Park. Many years in the making was this project that really kicked off in 2013 with a $13.4 million funding for a three-phase redevelopment and enhancement of the soccer fields, athletic fields at Swope to become what is already known as a world-class soccer destination. Phase one was completed in October of 2013. It was the championship field. We started it in June and we finished it in November just in time to host the 2013 Big 12 Women's Soccer Tournament. Phase two, we just opened on September 5th of last year. And then phase three is the addition to the existing training building, which adds a total of 6 locker rooms and a meeting room. That's so important because both the NCAA and Big 12 have asked for permanent facilities in which to stage their events here, and then it just gives us an opportunity to reach out to so many different groups and teams and leagues to have big events in the championship field. And I think you all read about what happened, what we announced last week. All these investments allowed us to go after FC Kansas City, the women's professional team, and we announced last week that they've named Swope Soccer Village as their home field for 2015, and we hope for many, many years. And that's significant because there's already youth soccer heavily programmed on all the weekends in the fall, in the spring and the fall. One, it brings a lot of people to the park during the summer, and two, it brings people to the park on weeknights, so they'll play their games on weeknights in the spring and the fall. If you've been out there, you know about this. If you haven't, please come out when the weather's better, because this project incorporated the 1% for art, and we had a fantastic artist, Jake Balcom, who really wanted the art to have a meaning to soccer. So he created a series of truncated icosahedrons, which is the geometric name for the soccer ball. They're cool. They're already the backdrop for so many photos. And then one of his ideas was that they be placed in such a way that they create dramatic shadow patterns on the paving at the plaza by the South Shelter. So let's talk just a little bit about all the uses that we've had in 2014 out of Swope. Of course, Sporting Kansas City, we start next month our 9th year training at Swope. We have 4 academy teams. These are young men and even boys who have a dream of becoming professional soccer players. They start as young as 10 years old and go up to 17 and 18, and so this is their home. They train 5 days a week, almost 11 and a half months a year out at Swope. with Sporting Park, we bring some of the top soccer teams from the world to come play in Kansas City in the metropolitan area, and they all train at Swope Park. Last year we had Manchester City, who was the defending English champions, and they spent several days training at Swope. Over the past 7, 8 years, we've had the biggest clubs from all over, including our men's and women's national teams, train every time there's a game in Market. I think it's probably 13 or 14 different national teams or club teams have come, and they always train at Swope. We spoke a little bit about FC Kansas City. They also had a practice game. They had a practice game to begin their title run. We had the Kansas City Blues, who have been training and playing on our synthetic field that we built back in 2008 for 5 years. This year we said, let's see what the championship field can do. Can it withstand the rigors of rugby? So there was a big international exhibition game between a team from Australia and the Blues. There's over 1,000 people there. And I took that photo, and you see where the scrum is taking place. And right after the game, I went to that location, and I couldn't even see that anything had happened. So we're really excited because that means we can have the Blues play more rugby matches out there. And there's a huge rugby following, as you know. And then something really special happened last fall. The women's national team, this is the team that's won the past 3 Olympic gold medals, and this summer is going to try and win the Women's World Cup. They had a training camp before they began World Cup qualifying. And of every place in the world, really, they chose Swope Park. They had a 10-day training camp at the soccer village. So let's get to the big user, youth soccer. When you think about it, we opened on September 5th. So September, October, November, 3 months of youth soccer availability. We opened the field 7 months early so that we could get people playing on these world-class fields as quickly as possible. And so there's some pretty astonishing numbers. 170 different leagues had teams that played at the soccer village last fall. That represents over 16,000 boys and girls. Brookside Soccer is the anchor tenant. They had been really, with the field shortage, they hadn't been able to grow. And now with all the fields here, it gives them the opportunity to grow and continue to increase their programming. They've added a competitive league, and they have lots of camps and clinics. So it's been fantastic for them. They have over 2,000 kids, and I think we all expect that to continue to grow with these new facilities. During the youth soccer season, just on the weekends, we estimated there's about 5,000 people that come out to the soccer village. If you really want to see what this has done for our park, come out about 10 a.m. on a Saturday morning in March or April or May. You won't believe how many people are coming to Swope Soccer Village. And that number doesn't even take into account all the people that are coming in and training during the week. So there's some other sports too. Some Gaelic football, hurling, lacrosse, rugby, ultimate frisbee. As the master scheduler for the parks, our role is to fill every minute of these fields' life. So really, everyone who comes to us, we try and find a way to get them out on the fields, not just for soccer. So some really special things, lots of special things have happened, but some great tournaments were able to be played already this fall. The one I want to point out, there's the photo of it. It's the Missouri and Kansas Girls State Championships. So usually this is pretty prestigious that you play it in your own states. For the first time ever, a state chose to play their state high school championship, or their state championships in another state. Kansas came to Missouri. And as you can see, there were over 40 teams. It was under 15 girls to under 18. Over 700 players came over the weekend. So fantastic event. Everyone was so pleased with the facilities. Both Kansas and Missouri want to do it again next year. And we hope to make that more annual than not, because obviously it needs to spread around each state respectively, but they had such a great experience here, they can't wait to come back to Swope. Having all these fields gives us a chance to over-deliver in our mission to reach out to kids. So in terms of camps, we had 6 youth camps. And when you think that, again, these fields only opened in September, when we have a full year, we're going to be able to significantly increase these numbers. And just some fun facts there, that bullet point list of places people came from besides Kansas and Missouri, all the way from Germany to attend a sporting camp. And then, again, the ability to over-deliver in our commitment on clinics. We were able to host 14, some on the championship field, some on sporting's actual fields, and many on the synthetic fields. I can keep saying the word special, but I'll just go through the events. A young boy, Isaiah, had a dream to be Iron Man, and he came to Sporting Park to Sporting and Swope Soccer Village to rescue the MLS Cup. So, it was in conjunction with the Make-A-Wish Foundation. The Victory Project is Sporting Kansas City's charitable foundation, and each game we honor a young child who's battling typically cancer, but we don't just honor them at the game. We bring them out to Swope Park the week of the game and give he or she a chance to meet the players, and the players to see who their fans are and who they're inspiring. Another great program was the Sporting Active Readers. So between about 400, 450 students were impacted this year, and again, we hope to grow that, where this is a program that encourages kids to read, and the reward at the end of the program is a chance to come out to a Sporting Kansas City training session and meet some of the players. Just some of the other really cool things that have happened. We hosted a Wounded Warriors Clinic, which is the photo there. We teamed with you and the Greater Kansas City Recreational Council to host an abilities clinic. And then one thing that's really fantastic because it affects the kids in this neighborhood, we partnered with Upper Room in the fall. Kids came out and played soccer for 1 day a week. This summer, there'll be camps where they'll come and they'll play soccer for half the day and then go swimming in the Swope pool second half of the day. So the fact that those two amenities are really now walking distance apart makes it so much easier to grow that program, so much more efficient, and the kids actually have more time in the pool and on the fields instead of being moved from bus back and forth. Yes, Mark?
Dave, I know you've met some of the youth through the Recreation Council that participated, but just since the leadership of the Recreation Council is here today, make sure you know they're with you today.
I haven't met you. Yeah. So how are you?
This is their board.
Fantastic. Thank you. We can't wait to host another and many more clinics. Fantastic. Thank you, Mark. Two big collegiate tournaments call Swope Soccer Village their home. The Big 12 Women's Soccer Tournament, which hosts 8 Big 12 teams, and it's played over 3 days, televised nationally on Fox Sports 1, over 1 million viewers, and the Visit KC estimated that this brings in an economic revenue of almost $1.2 million annually to the city. So when we partnered with you to develop Swope Soccer Village, we said we're going to create youth programming, and there's also going to be an economic development component. And this is one of them, as is this one here. The NCAA will play 4 consecutive national championships for both men's and women's soccer. This December, we hosted the Division III men's and women's. We'll host D3 one more year, and then it will go to D2 for the 2 following years. And you can see where the states that people came from. And this was surprisingly well attended, considering that it was brutally cold and people had 1 week to travel, and you don't typically think of Kansas City as a warm weather environment in which to enjoy soccer, but all of those 8 schools had really amazing, passionate turnout. And Visit KC projects that this tournament is worth $600,000 annually in economic revenue to the city. So that was 3 months and a little bit more. Imagine what my report to you next year will be when we've had a full year of programming the fields. and a full year of FC Kansas City playing their games there. Thank you very much for your time. Any questions? Yes, Mark.
Just on, you mentioned economic impact. One thing I will mention is, knowing that this has economic impact, the EDC Corporation of Kansas City does their Cornerstone Awards, and through Heidi's good work, she submitted a nomination for Swope Park Soccer Village, and I understand we're a finalist.
We are. We are. Tough competition we're up against, but when we first developed the training center at Swope, we were also named a finalist. So that's 2 for this partnership.
I was reading a article on a travel magazine that listed 10 reasons to visit Kansas City, and that was one of the top reasons, the Swope Soccer Village. That's an international publication, so it's getting, along with the city, great recognition, and it's another great asset for the city, and we're just tickled with it.
That's wonderful to hear. You will be so pleased when you come out there and watch some soccer, and if you overhear conversations, if you eavesdrop, you will hear things like, "Oh wow, you know, we were really bummed when we got some games scheduled in Kansas City because we don't want to go out there." And then, my goodness, we get here and the fields are nicer than ours being over in the Park Soccer Complex. I cannot tell you how many times I heard comments like that, and my colleagues heard comments like that. So we're changing people's perceptions in our city and in our region about what Kansas City can do when we work together. So thank you for your vision, allowing us to be your partners.
Well, thank you, David.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Thank you. Resolution number 30340.
Yes, Commissioners, this is consideration of an agreement with the Heart of America Shakespeare Festival for the 23rd Annual Shakespeare in the Park at Southmoreland Park. And you have a memo in your packet from Shannon, and she's here if you have any questions.
Good afternoon, Commissioners.
Good afternoon.
Sydney, unfortunately, thinks she's coming down with the flu, so I said stay away.
Don't come.
Yeah.
But she did send me some notes. This is for this year's production, this approval today. Obviously in Southmoreland, they're doing King Lear, and it'll be going June 16th through July 5th. But there were some interesting notes from last year, so she wanted me to share those. They're very proud of having 22 successful seasons of presenting free Shakespeare in Southmoreland Park. Last season, the festival reached over 24,000 people, so that's pretty awesome. They had the production of The Winter's Tale. They also received international recognition last year when scholars and documentarians from the Shakespearean Birthplace Trust and Warwick University in England made Kansas City's festival their first stop on an epic 16-city tour across the United States. The festival received a commemorative commendation praising their work to bring Shakespeare to Kansas City community as part of the 450th anniversary of Shakespeare's birth. Mayor James was there in the public celebration, and that was the weekend of July 5th and 6th last year. So very cool. So she hopes this partnership continues, and they're very happy to be in Southmoreland.
Okay. We're happy that they continue to use the park. It's a great event, great tradition. Any questions? Comments? Okay, hearing none, is there a motion to approve the
So moved.
resolution? Is there a second?
Second.
Good, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Very good, resolution passes. Resolution number 30341.
Yes, Commissioners, another item that Shannon has on the agenda for the annual St. Patrick's Parade. Happens to be on March 17th.
March 17th, every year. Patty is here if you have any questions.
Any questions? This will be the 43rd annual parade. The theme is Irish music and myth, and we're ready to march down Broadway again.
Okay. Fantastic. Any questions, comments? All those in favor, oh, excuse me, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion seconded, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Resolution number 30342.
Okay, keeping with that same theme, Irish Fest.
Yeah. Patty's here.
Well, you guys know about the Kansas City Irish Fest. This will be our 13th year. We continue to keep it large and keep it economically fun for the entire City, we've had battled rain the last few years and heat and everything under the elements, but they still turn out. We managed probably over 2,500 hotel rooms in just the 2 partnered hotels. And both this last year we sold out and went down to the Marriott, and they sold another 100 some odd rooms. So it's a great partnership. We continue to use the Boulevard as well as Washington Park. I think we're going to really reach capacity with it this year. We're looking at some different changes up with our staging, and as always, we greatly appreciate the partnership with you all.
Great. Any questions? All right, thank you. Is there a motion to approve? So moved. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion seconded. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Resolution passes. Resolution number 30343.
Yes, shifting from a event with a long history to a brand-new event. Shannon, Deb, Kelly, there you go.
Yes, Cycle in the City, brand new event, hopes to become annual. Longboard Parkway on May 16th. Deb is here from the Public Works Department, and Kelly is here as well.
Good afternoon.
Afternoon.
Deb Ridgway, Bicycle Pedestrian Coordinator in the Public Works Department for the city. This is an event that Public Works secured federal funds to bring an inaugural event to Kansas City. These are events that happen across the country. It's originated in Bogota, Colombia, where you close down anywhere from a mile to 20 miles of roadway to cars, and you open it up for biking, walking, really programming the street and bringing people out to the street for a festival in the street. And so the Public Works Department has, through an RFP process, partnered with O'Neill Marketing to help us really package and put together what we're going to call Cycle in the City. May 16th, as Shannon has already said, and we're very, very excited about this.
I'll just kind of explain the event a little bit. We're really excited to be a part of it because when the city came to us with this vision of putting something in the streets, we immediately thought, what a great education tool to show all the things that the city and everybody's doing to make this a better urban, suburban, and trail system. Which I'm very excited living in Brookside using the trails all the time. I think it's a great thing. So we really, our job was to look at we do a few festivals in town, so we do know how to get people to them. And we really felt like the location that we've chosen on Ward Parkway was a good central location to just not sway certain areas. We feel like it's a welcoming area. And what I love about it is we do have runs and we do have a lot of things on Ward Parkway. We do not have a festival, an event where it's stationed and secured and really something that really attracts the most beautiful parts. I mean, people drive around the Meyer Circle and those boulevards, and every day I drive them, I think, gosh, to do a festival or an event in that is just a beautiful setting. And so the real idea is to leave the streets themselves fairly open and then utilize and activate the boulevards to do a number of children's and family activities, and promoting the various activities that we have food trucks to pull in some things, and really it just becomes this day opportunity for people to really be educated, and it's free, and families that live and utilize the Brookside Trail would be easy to just ride their bikes over and participate. But I really do feel like that location this year would be good. And then the idea is, what other boulevard, what other things going down the year that we can, they would trust us, hopefully, and then it's a fun event, and potentially it could go rotate, or it could stay there and really showcase our beautiful boulevards. I have tons of ideas, but we have to ease into them on where we think the most maximum amount of people would come and feel safe and like it and trust us that it's a fun event.
So is it parking then just on the side streets there?
Yeah, so we talked about parking, and we've talked about a little bit. We do feel like we're going to encourage people to ride over, so hopefully those folks would ride, but we haven't gotten that far in details of, is there a lot that we could suggest people, maybe a church or something nearby, because it is on an afternoon, and we thought Saturday afternoon because we really feel like, get all the soccer, trust me, I'm one of them, that we can, get that over by 3 or so, and then it's really just a fun activity. So yes, we've thought about parking will probably be targeted someplace, but in the end, we realize people will just park on the streets. And that, part of that's kind of that old neighborhood feel of just go enjoy the area.
And plan to reach out, I assume, to the neighborhood associations there and.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, we're very mindful of it, and I will say that I live in that area, and there's lots of times I literally have to drive my car across the street so I can get to soccer games and not be blocked in. But what I love is that this is the first time you're really not blocked in. We're utilizing it so Gregory can still be passable.
Right.
So Meyer would just be closed off. So you really have 63rd and Gregory. That's not very far for me living in that area. If I knew I could go that far and get around, it's one thing when you have to go all the way downtown and around.
Yeah.
And the fact that if you live on those blocks, you just go to State Line or Warnell.
Okay.
You're really pretty eased. And I actually know somebody on Meyer Circle that lives there, and I said, hey, what do you think of this idea? And they were like, how fun, right outside our door. And so I do think there's a lot more families that would probably, we all know there's talkers out there, but we are very mindful of the neighborhoods.
Okay, all right, perfect, great.
Thank you. All right, any questions?
Sounds exciting.
Yeah, very cool.
Yeah, very good. Okay, great. Is there a motion to approve this?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
The motion is second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Very good. Resolution passes. Resolution number 30344.
Yes, Commissioners, as Shannon continues to fill the event calendar for the summer of 2015,
This is.
now we're going to jump to July in Penn Valley
Yes.
Park.
Yes. Brand new festival to Kansas City, but not new. Scott and Dre are here. Scott's from Chipotle, Dre's from C3 Presents. I'm going to let Scott tell you about this event that's happened in other cities. And they're coming to Kansas City and very excited, pending your approval.
Yes, awesome. Well, I've actually only got one of these, so I'm just going to hand one over to you. Unfortunately, it's the last two that exist from our Minneapolis event this past year, but like she said, my name's Scott. I'm the manager of national events for Chipotle, and Andrea is with C3 Presents, who's our amazing production partner on this. They do festivals much larger than ours, like Lollapalooza, Austin City Limits, and a lot of food and wine festivals as well. So we've got an amazing partner on this. This is our 5th year doing it. We started in Chicago, and it was kind of a test saying, hey, could we do this festival? We had sponsored a lot of other festivals. We said, why can't we throw our own festival, have it be free, really control sort of what the message is, have it be very inclusive, really bring on all of our own partners. And so the long and short of it is it went very well. We expanded to Denver, which is actually where we were founded the next year. And then 2 years ago did Chicago, Denver, San Francisco. And now this past year just completed San Francisco, Minneapolis, and Dallas, sorry. And now this year we're going to Phoenix, and very excited to be considered to come here on July 18th to Penn Valley Park. So, you know, this event is, I think, a very unique festival. I mean, first and foremost, the fact that it is free, you know, makes it a very inclusive, very community-oriented festival. Really allows people to come for a lot of different reasons. We've got wonderful music, wonderful chefs, some great food. We call it a food, ideas, and music festival, and the music is last for a reason. You know, music is a great way to get people to an event, but really for us, being a restaurant, you know, it is about food. It is about food education, and that's where the ideas portion comes in. So this first part here is actually the educational component of it. We have 5 different experiences that we invite people to go around and visit. They get stamped, and if they visit 4 out of the 5 of them, they get a free burrito. So we also give away about 20,000 free burritos that day as well, because the participation in this is actually incredibly high, and it was one of the things that for us was really amazing to see after that first year that, yeah, people came to see some bands, they may have come to see Andrew Zimmern from Bizarre Foods or something, but they also came, they wanted to learn a little bit, and they participated in the process and kind of left with something else. So this is a really cool part of the educational component of what Cultivate's all about. You know, the second page here, we do food tents. Our culinary team comes up with an entirely different special menu just for the event. So those of you that are familiar with Chipotle, you'll see some similar ingredients, but done in a very different way. We do some gorditas, you know, we do guacamole. There's a lot of different things out there, but it's kind of a riff on our menu, which gets people kind of excited. The other cool thing is we have another concept called Shop House Asian Kitchen that's open in Washington, D.C. and Los Angeles right now. And at our Cultivate events, a lot of people have heard about it, whether it's the stock ticker or what have you. We bring that to our event as well and get people have a chance to eat Shop House, which is cool. We've got a great tasting hall where we highlight all local craft breweries. We're actually going to work with Boulevard to create a collaboration beer for the event. We've actually done that for the last 2.5 years. So we work with a local brewer to create a farmhouse ale style beer that's specific to the event. So that, folks that are into beer, into the crazy craft brew scene that you see going on right now, that's kind of a fun element to the event. But you'll see all the great local craft breweries represented there. We also keep prices really low. Our food is $5 to $7, depending on what you're getting. Beers are usually $5 to $6. But this event we try to make it very different in a lot of ways. I think pricing is one of those. A lot of events you're paying a huge premium for alcohol, or even a bottle of water. We really look to be the opposite of that, and so you'll see some really competitive, reasonable prices at these events. Another cool thing is the Artisan Hall. Similar to the Tasting Hall, we invite local food artisans to come, almost like a farmer's market, where we let them set their own menu prices, but it's usually focused around sweets, whether it's ice cream, whether it's brownies or cookies or cakes. It's just, since we don't do dessert really at Chipotle, we allow all the great local food artisans in each city to kind of come in and do that. So we're just starting some of that outreach to some of the folks here, as well as coffee. The next 2 pages here, I know you guys don't all have this, but we do 5 bands and we do 5 chefs. We rotate it throughout the day, so we've got a great music stage at one end, we've got the chef stage at the other end. So when one band's done, the chef starts, and we kind of keep going back and forth. And for those of you that watch a lot of food TV, we've had people like Amanda Freitag from Chopped, and you name it. We've got a lot of great national names that come, and then we also always invite a couple local chefs as well. And we're kind of starting that outreach, as it stands right now. Another thing that makes this event really unique is our partners. We've got partners like Tabasco is our chef stage sponsor. We've got Earthbound Farm. Applegate Farm is actually a huge sponsor of our kids area. The kids area at our event is one of the most successful parts of our event. Because it's free and because it's easy to bring children to for that reason, also giving parents, I have a 3-year-old and a 6-year-old, something to do at these festivals is really great too. So we've got a bunch of tents that have arts and crafts. Applegate does the little half hot dogs, and they do have a t-shirt painting thing, and so hundreds and hundreds of kids and families. We designate a really large area at the festival for the kids to come, usually in the shade, so we keep them out of the sun, and so it's a very family-friendly event as well. So it's from 11 to 7. It's a daytime event. I think some festivals, as you get towards the end of the night and you get towards some of the sun goes down, that's not really the vibe at our festival. Like I said, folks come around lunchtime. They sometimes spend the whole day there, and then at 7 o'clock, we shut down. It's been a great day. So we're really excited the opportunity to come to Kansas City. We looked at a lot of cities, and it was pretty clear that we wanted to come here, and look forward to you guys considering it. So.
Thank you. Are there any questions?
A couple questions. I was just curious in some of these other towns, maybe Denver. I was just curious of the attendance in some of these others that you've had.
Yeah, I mean, our first year events are typically like 15 to 20,000. So. I know that's certainly not a small event. Certainly, I don't think as big as some of the other ones that are in Penn Valley. And that's not all at one time, because a free event. The nature of it, you've got this flow of people who kind of come early and then leave, or come later, and you never have that amount of people actually in the field at the same time. So throughout the entire day, it's 15 to 20. I mean, at any one particular time, it's maybe 5,000, 8,000. Yeah, something like that. So. Okay. That's pretty typical. Now, the events year over year, sometimes they'll grow. If you did 18,000 the first year, you might do 23,000 the second year. And while this is a traveling festival, we absolutely have every intention to bring it back at least one more time.
Okay. And the other question I had was, we have a really good partner in the Penn Valley Park Conservancy. Have you been working with them, and how's that been going?
We have. We've reached out to them, and as we get going into the paperwork process and working together, but they are aware of that, and they're very excited.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's very, very, very important to us to leave the park exactly the way we found it. I know probably everyone says that, but it's very important for us, and part of being able to accomplish that is working with C3, because they're used to taking all the right channels to make sure we do that, and working with all the right people, and so we feel very confident we'll do that.
Good. Thank you very much.
Yeah, it's a very green. I mean, the theme of it is, it has a very sustainable theme to begin with. And so wouldn't make a whole lot of sense to come in and destroy a park and leave. So, yeah, and we've got free water. It'll be a hot day, so we do free water. We take a lot of time to figure those things out.
Recycling and all that?
Yes. Oh, yeah, a big recycling program.
Recycling, composting.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Good.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Look forward to it.
All right, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion second. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Very good, resolution passes. Resolution number 30345.
Okay, let's shift back to the month of May now.
Yeah, that's May.
Back to May, and this is one that's been 4 years maybe?
Yeah, they're 6 years this year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Goes quick.
Yep.
Clips Beer and Film Tour.
Yep, New Belgium would love to come back to Kansas City. Kansas City is always one of their most successful. They do this all across the country as well. Clips Beer and Film Tour runs about 4 p.m. to 11 o'clock usually. People are encouraged to ride their bikes. It's another very green festival. They had 1,400 in 2014. They're hoping to break the 2,000 mark this year. It's always weather dependent, but they're very excited to be back, pending your approval,
Okay.
in Tice Park.
Great part. Any questions? Comments? All right. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved. Second.
Motion is second. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Very good. Resolution passes. Thank you, gentlemen. Resolution number 30346.
Yes, Commissioners, this is consideration of a agreement with KCUMB for the property at 534 Highland. As the board recalls back last year, we approved a resolution to go to the voters to actually sell this 2.4 acres to KCUMB, and that'll be on the April ballot for consideration by the voters of Kansas City, Missouri. We're looking at a ground lease. Not sure if this is a legal term, but I call it Plan B. So in the event that the item does not pass the voters, we would still be able to lease this property to KCUMB. The terms of the lease are spelled out to some degree in this paragraph. Fuzzy White is here representing KCUMB, and Austin Steelman has been working on this from the law department. No, he wasn't able to be here, but Lon is here from the law department. If commissioners have any questions about the terms, I'm sure either one of them can answer those.
Yeah, we've been working on this with Austin for quite a number of months. And this started out, as you're probably acutely aware, with some quiet title actions trying to find out who owns the property, what the property was supposed to be used for, and problems arose as a result of the platting of the Paseo. And the simplest route, it was determined, was to simply consider this Parks property and deal with it in that manner. And the only way to deal with that is to put it to a public vote, number one. And number two, the Plan B we came up with is to do a ground lease, similar to what's been done in the past with Ron McDonald House and a number of other properties. The property will be kept open. The east side of the property is open. It won't be fenced. The balance of the perimeter of the property will be fenced with the fencing that's of the same appearance and construction as the fencing around the rest of the KCUMB campus. KCUMB is going to take up the responsibility for maintaining the property, keeping it to the standards of the rest of its campus, and would like to start that process, which is why we're wanting to enter into the lease a couple of months ago. We finally have a closing date on the lovely Capri Motel, and so that'll be coming down shortly. And we have a number of other construction and destruction and reconstruction activities that are going on. And we have a couple of other properties that we're targeting that are under contract, and so we're just very, very anxious to get started, as is our demo contractor on the Capri Motel, and it'll be open for anyone to pick through if you want. We'll give you advanced warning. They'll have some personal property there that'll be of interest, some antiquity value, I'm sure.
And you're adding parking spaces, correct?
And we're going to be adding some parking spaces to the existing student parking, correct. Fantastic. And we came up, we have the $30,000 fee, ground lease fee over the life of the ground lease, which was the dollar amount which was paid in at the time of making the bid to purchase the land. before we found out that we'd have to go through this process.
Great. Any comments or questions at this time?
I have a comment. A very heartfelt thank you to you on behalf of Scarrett Renaissance Neighborhood Association for demolishing the Capri Motel. How about it? Go for it.
Yeah, it starts.
Very good. Okay.
So it starts.
Right.
Yeah.
Another project that's come before us in the past is the Gateway project, and this will be a tremendous kickoff for that.
Absolutely.
So this is just nothing but a plus, plus, plus.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, this is working hand in glove with that.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
this is great.
I'm excited about that.
Thanks for your work on this.
Yes.
Thank you.
Well done.
Thanks.
Thanks, Fuzzy.
All right, is there a motion to accept the
Amber is
resolution?
motion, yes.
I knew you were
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right, motion is second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Very good, resolution passes. Thank you. Resolution number 30347.
Yes, Commissioners, this is a amendment number 3 to our contract with Pros Consulting for their work they're doing on our park master plan. This is time only. Takes us to November of this year, and if you have any questions, Richard Allen is here to answer those.
All right. Are there any questions of Richard regarding this? All right, seeing none. Richard, you don't need to get up? How about that? No, you're good, Richard. No, you're good. No. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion is seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
The resolution passes. Resolution number 30348.
Yes, Commissioners, this is a request to submit a grant application to Platte County. It's one of their outreach grants, and there's actually 2 of them here.
Yeah, let's just do both together at the same time.
Thank you.
Okay.
One's for $20,000, one's for $25,000. As you can see, they're 50-50 matches. First one deals with parking area up at Hampton Road, which is part of Tiffany Springs Park, and the second one is for, again, some parking located at Platte Purchase Park. And again, if you have any questions, Richard is here to answer those.
Okay. Any questions regarding either of the grants? Applications? No? Okay. Is there a motion to approve both resolutions?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion is seconded. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All right, very good. Resolutions passed. Resolution number 30350 regarding contributions and gifts.
Yes, Commissioners, 3 gifts, recommend approval of acceptance.
All right, is there a motion to accept?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion is seconded. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Very good. Resolution passes. On to the director's report.
Richard, you can get up now.
Good afternoon. I'd like to introduce Mark Bolin, our ADA coordinator for Parks and Rec. He's going to update you on the Phase 1 ADA improvements to several of the Parks and Rec facilities.
Good afternoon, Commissioners.
Good afternoon, sir.
There is a handout and a packet of information that I've provided you at your seats. And I just kind of wanted to go, not as quickly as I'd like to, but certainly with some due diligence about the work that we have done, and I say we, Meg Conger, Piper Wynn Architects, and others, to ensure that Kansas City becomes a much more accessible place than it has been over the last 22 years. A little bit of the history about when the ADA was signed into law back in July 26 of 1990. Since that time, the city, and more specifically the Parks and Recreation Department, had entered into an agreement with the Department of Justice as a result of some of the barriers that continue to exist within our programs, facilities, and other amenities. Coincidentally, it's been 22 years on the date of the signing of the law, and when the city of Kansas City became or the 22nd anniversary when we entered into this agreement with the Department of Justice. What you have before you is a list of projects that have in some cases have been completed, and others are in the development stages. There is a long sheet of Excel spreadsheet that identifies the Terry Dobson, this building alone. I think there's something like 550 elements that need to be corrected. But what we've done to date, though, we've done a couple of different things. One is our first phase where we did an audit, and we're currently looking to go into contract with the Gunter Construction to do Phase 1 of the Parks projects. That's listed on the left side of the colored printout, which is Swope Memorial, Southeast Community Center, Lakeside Nature Center, this building, the Garrison Community Center, Shoal Creek Living History Museum. While all of those are listed, all of them don't have 500 or so elements to be improved, but they do have significant amounts. On the right side of that sheet are projects that are currently being audited and actually are in the process of being drawn up for construction, design, and then bidding. So the first phase of the projects has been put out to bid, and we have a contractor that we're looking at, and the second phase is kind of still under development. The department did provide this project with, I think, about $500,000 for these audits, and for that amount, the entire Parks Department, some 260 facilities, will be audited with those funds. Currently, there's about 30 audits that have taken place with the Piper Wynn organization, 13 of those which are listed on the front sheet, and then a few others right now. I think it's Liberty Memorial that's currently undergoing the audit process. Our next steps or the next phase of what we're looking to do is to continue to look at the park side of our operations, or park side of the Parks Department operations, to finish up with the audits. But as it stands right now, we have 13, and looking to do the rest as time permits, and those will take place in this coming up year. And I think on the back side of the sheets of paper that I presented you are the actual audits and some of the information that has been provided in terms of discussion points that have taken place between Piper Wynn and the Parks Department. All of those elements have been discussed, and we're now looking to move forward into actual construction of Phase 1 projects. If you have any questions regarding the audits, I'd be more than happy to answer those.
How many again were there over the past, you said 30 audits?
30. And being mindful that the entire city is being audited in this process.
Okay.
As we move forward with this process, we'll be doing quarterly updates to the board just to kind of bring you up to speed.
Great. That's important work. A lot to digest.
It is. And a lot more yet to go.
Did you say 500 plus are in this building?
Correct.
alone?
Big spread list right here.
And then, yeah, the list, yeah, that's the list, yes.
Any idea of costs on any of these things yet?
We're looking at a $2.4 million cost to do that first phase of the project. That's just the first phase. That's construction drawings, constructions, and the whole 9 yards.
And how is that funded?
It's through a bond
Through a
issue.
bond.
The city sold $5 million worth of bonds to fund ADA improvements throughout the city. And, well, 2.4 is right at half, basically.
Correct.
So our 6 facilities, the first 6 that are listed there in that left column, are going to be receiving that $2.4 million worth of improvements for ADA needs. And then the other 2.5 is being spent in other city facilities.
Correct.
And then, like I said, the requisition authority for the $5 million is in the General Services Department, which is Meg Conger, Eric Bosch, city architect, who are actually managing the work, and then Mark is our liaison to facilitate the work within our facilities. And as you can see, that big long spreadsheet for this building, which is about 500 items. In simple math, if you take 2.4 and divide it by 6, it's about 400,000 in each location. So you could guess roughly about that much money to do these multiple pages of things in this building.
And so when that first part is done, those 6 there that are listed, that'll be totally completed for all ADA requirements?
For those particular 6,
Six.
yes.
Correct.
It'll be finished.
And then a phase 2 would be the next 7, basically.
Correct.
And we understand in talking to the manager that they'll probably do another bond issue sometime maybe in 2015 to do those 7.
Okay.
plus something else citywide besides that.
And that Phase 2 is currently going under like design and design documents to be bidded out for Phase 2.
Well, it finally caught up with us that the Parks Department over the years has spent its assets on public facilities and not on its own headquarters. And now we're getting bit for it. But, you know, I think we've had the right emphasis over the years while our budgets were being cut, but with the ADA compliance, it gives us the reason to upgrade this facility. When you look at other city facilities, you can see that our emphasis has been toward the public good rather than just our headquarters. But again, I think in a way it's kind of complimentary to us that we put the money in the right places over the years.
Absolutely. And just to note, those 552 elements, some of them are the same. It could be the blinds here that are not within reach range of a person in a wheelchair. Those blinds, I mean, they could be listed throughout this entire building. So it's not all separate issues, but there's a lot of similarities and a lot of crossover of projects that we'll be working on.
I would ask, as part of the settlement agreement, is there a Justice Department imposed deadline by which we have to complete a majority of these?
Yes, there is. The deadlines, I think, for most of these will be 2016. And those will be just those issues that they came out and identified initially.
And that doesn't include the 552, or that's not all of the 552?
Yeah, that's all of this building and all of the other 5 other buildings or facilities as well for Phase 1 and 2 projects. All of the projects that the Department of Justice came out and cited us on has to be done, I think, around 2016.
Okay.
The other ones, I mean, we're not getting away from the other elements of the Parks and Recreation Department. They have different timelines associated with them as well. So even though there were the 13 that were originally identified by the Department of Justice, we still have to go out and do every last facility, every last park and amenity that the Parks and Recreation Department has.
Any other questions, comments?
Mark, were you going to introduce the members of the Recreation Council here?
Actually, I am. Jennifer O'Million, and just trying to change subjects just a tad bit, but still within the same vein of working with and for persons with disabilities. I'd like to introduce Jennifer O'Million, who is the Executive Director of the Recreation Council. Brian McMillan is a part of our board, and Mary Sear is also a board member. And what we'd like to do today, Commissioners, is to kind of give a brief update of the work, or kind of an annual update or report that the work of the Recreation Council has done over the last year and a half, particularly as it relates to the work that we've done with the Parks and Recreation Department, the Memorandum of Understanding that we entered into, a 5-year Memorandum of Understanding, and then some of the special things that have taken place as a result of the Memorandum of Understanding. There is a mission statement associated with the Recreation Council. It's identified in the board, or at least the memo that I prepared for the board. But just because most people don't have it, excuse me, I'd like to read it. And the mission is to enhance the quality of life for people with disabilities through increased recreation, participation, and leisure opportunities. The annual report really identifies the many successes that have taken place over the last year and a half. But I would be remiss not to talk about some of those individuals that were a part of the Recreation Council in its inception. Those that are perhaps not here today on the board, but as a result of their participation made the board and the services that we provide what they are today. And those individuals are Clay Berry from Alpha Point, Chad Hagum, who is with the Wells Fargo Bank, Jake Jacobs with ETOS, Bob Kendrick with the Negro Leagues Museum, Terry Long, he's the professor at Northwest Missouri State University, Debbie Neiman, Eric Erfer, who is the director of the Parks and Recreation Department in Independence, and last but not least, your own director here, Mr. Mark McHenry. Again, without those individuals in the beginning establishing this organization, we certainly wouldn't be in the favorable position that we are today. So my hat's off to all of those individuals. My hat's off to our director for his support and vision in helping us move this organization forward. That said, I'd like for Jennifer, who is our executive director, to talk a little bit about some of the successes and some of the things that the Recreation Council has done. And then I would like, if Mary has a comment, or Brian. Brian facilitates all of our programs for the Recreation Council, so he would like to say a few things in that regard, but if not, that's who they are, and this is who she is. Jennifer.
All right, great.
So the Rec Council, we got our 501c3 a couple years, 2 years ago, a little over 2 years ago. And with the support of all of our past board members and our current board members, and I know Mark didn't mention those people, they are in the annual report. But real quick, Mark Boland is our president, Secretary Rick Melsick, and our directors, Ben Bullers, Mary Sear, Lisa Lawson, Gary Lynn, Brian McMillan, Brian Nowotny, Don Saxton, Kevin Williams. And with all of the support of the people who've helped this organization move forward, we've gotten this to just a successful place. Over the last 2 years with our sports camps for people with disabilities and their family members, everybody comes out and participates together. We host a day of football with the Kansas City Chiefs, baseball with the Royals, soccer with Sporting KC, and sled hockey with the Mavericks. And then we do one day, and we partner with the YMCA Challenger program along with Platte County Parks Department. And we do one fun day of all different events for people to try out, to try to get them involved in the community. And one of the key things about our events is we always have left it open to people of all ages and all levels of ability. So parents and kids and families, if one person has a disability and they want to come out with their friends or their families, everybody can play together. We have served more than 1,200 people over the last 2 years through our ability camps. And if it wasn't for our volunteers, none of this would happen, because up to this point it has been 100% volunteer-based organization. Moving forward, that's in the past. Moving forward, absolutely we're going to keep doing these sports camps because everybody looks forward to them. It's something that we want to do, want to continue to do for our community. As a recipient of a 2014/15 Healthcare Foundation grant, we are doing a asset mapping project. So we finally have the opportunity to be able to look at the greater Kansas City area and see what is available for people with disabilities, what adaptive equipment, what facilities, such as your community centers and things, what you have to offer people with disabilities. And we're going to be doing this for the entire greater Kansas City area, putting it on our website so people can go on there and do searches. And so that's what we're going to be doing over the next year. And we also have some of our board members who are helping to complete the rest of our website, and we'll be able to finally offer that calendar of events so the whole community knows what's going on and where. And I think that's about what we're doing this year. It's going to be a great year for the Rec Council. We'll finally get to do what we've been working toward and what the community's been looking forward to.
Yeah,
so
that's great.
And really, to add to that, I think it would be remiss for us to emphasize the importance of the memorandum of understanding that we have with the department. It's allowed us a stable office location where we can really have Jennifer sit down and get the kind of work that needs to be done for the organization. So it's really benefited us well, and we'll do all that we said we would do through our mission to include persons with disabilities throughout everything that we do, all programs that we offer, and really allowing our biggest, our primary purpose, I would say, is it's not so much the programs that we offer, but the opportunity for kids and family and adults to participate in programs that they perhaps would not have been able to do But at the same time, we want to make sure that there's vendors at our events, whereas when that event is over, those kids, to the best of their skill sets and the best of their abilities, can then go into the mainstream programs that might be offered by the Parks and Recreation Department, the YMCA, the Boys and Girls Club, the Greater. So all of those things, our intentions are to transition from our camp those kids into programs that are offered throughout the greater Kansas City area.
Any questions?
Brian, you got something?
I was just going to chime in, give you
absolutely.
some more context to when she says the asset mapping, what we're trying to do. I think you all are well aware of the sort of Baldwinized nature of our metropolitan area. I mean, literally, we have 119 different municipalities, 9 different counties, in 2 different states. So it's very disorganized in that regard. So as far as people with disabilities wanting to recreate, wanting to play, wanting to compete, whether it's at the Paralympic level or all the way down the food chain, it's very hard for us to communicate and get organized. So the genius of the Recreational Council is we're acting as to fill that void as sort of the ombudsman, an umbrella organization to communicate in the metropolitan area. In similar cities, say like in Denver, there's the famous Craig Rehab Hospital, and that's sort of the mothership of all things rehab, disability, recreation oriented. Or in, say, Lincoln, it's the Madonna Rehab Hospital, again, kind of the mothership that organizes all that sort of effort in that community. Well, Kansas City, there's a void, there's kind of a vacuum. That's what the Recreational Council is doing. That's what we're filling. And when we have these ability days, it gets people, it introduces people. So there's a groundswell of latent demand out there. It's just not focused. And so I think that's really the genius of what we're doing. Thank you.
Thank you for that.
That's helpful.
Okay, great.
One final comment, if I could, and it's back to the ADA assessments that we're doing. Moving forward, it is my intention to ensure that every project moving forward gets a critical review of ADA guidelines and standards to ensure that what we build today will be accessible when it's done versus the 22 years of building things and they may not always meet the guidelines of ADA. So it's very important moving forward that myself and Meg and the ADA team look at all the projects moving forward to ensure that they are compliant with the ADA standards.
We would agree with that. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for your time.
Thank you, guys. Thanks for
Heidi.
Good afternoon.
Afternoon.
As I mentioned last time, we were busy compiling the information for the 2015 Spring and Summer Activities Guides and the 2014 Year in Review, and that is moving along, and we'll get those to the printer here in the next couple of weeks or month. The race fee ordinance will actually be going to now the Finance Committee tomorrow morning of Council at 8:30 in the morning, and then it will be going to the full Council a week and a half after that, I believe. So hopefully that will go smoothly. And appreciate Commissioner Judy coming and testifying in the morning for that. The Parks User Survey went out this afternoon and will be up on our website, out on social media. So please share it, get people to complete it through February the 16th. And everybody who does complete it will be entered in a drawing for a KC Parks prize package. Mark mentioned the EDC award that we were mentioned. Swope Soccer Village was a finalist. We were also named in Golf Week magazine as we had 2 of the top 5 courses that you can play in Missouri. Number 2 was Shoal Creek, and number 4 was Swope Memorial. So we've won that before, and we've retained those positions, but that's pretty exciting. As you know, yesterday we had the Martin Luther King Jr. Day Nature Walk on Brush Creek and had about 120 participants, which was amazing. I know it had nothing to do with the weather, but we would have had that anyway. But it was a really good event. We partnered with the Heartland Conservation Association, and they did a great job kind of guiding along the Brush Creek trails, stopping and talking about certain points, and then reading quotes from Martin Luther King along the way. So it was neat, and we concluded in the park with refreshments and then shuttled them back. So I want to thank our crews out there for cleaning up the trails and making them look really good, getting all the goose poop off. We had a lot of compliments about people on the trails, not knowing they were there, and then just how beautiful they were. So that was a cool event, and it probably looks to be an annual event, and hopefully we can maintain the weather for all the years to come. We do have a few community and open house meetings scheduled for the Parks and Boulevard projects and that we're going through, and that is January the 27th at for the Midtown area, and that's at Main Core. On January 28th, that will be in the Northland at NNI. On February the 3rd, it will be at the KCPD South Patrol offices for the Southtown area. You can go to any or all of them. They all begin at 6 o'clock. We've done some emailing. We'll be doing a lot of social media and reminder emails as well to get as much participation as we can on the Parks and Boulevard project. And then you see here the update with regards to our website analytics. They're, of course, down from the summer months, but still vastly improved from where they were last year at this time. And as always, our social media numbers continue to increase. Oh, I want to mention we will be doing a fun event again on February the 14th, Valentine's Day, where last year we kind of put big light towers out on Valentine's Day evenings and encourage people to go out and lock their love on the old Red Bridge that evening from 6 to 10 while it's lighted. We had about 140 couples come and do it last year, so we're doing it again on the 14th from 6 to 10 p.m., and I already know one person who will be locking their love on the bridge, so we're excited about that, and thank you for your participation. Thank you.
Thank you.
It sounds like you're going to be very busy promoting this summer with all the new activities and things that have been brought before us today.
Yes.
There's going to be something to do virtually every week this summer, and that's fantastic.
Absolutely. You can never say you're bored in Kansas City.
That's right.
No.
And if you do, it's your own fault.
Exactly.
Thanks, Heidi.
Thank you.
Heidi.
All right, nobody signed up on the public hearing. You want to do a quick calendar review?
Yes, this comes our last meeting in January, and our next meeting on the 10th of February. And as I mentioned earlier in the pre-board, following the board meeting, at approximately 3 o'clock, we'll have a meeting of the Casey Museum Foundation Board. Other couple items on February, Municipal Art Commission on the 2nd, Platte County Park Partners on the 11th. Of course, the President's Holiday on the 16th, Starlight Board meeting the 19th, and the Building and Grounds Committee for the Memorial on the 19th as well. And anyway, that gets into February.
Yep.
And then I have one other item. Actually, it's two items that on a similar subject. Is the board is aware there is a possibility of naming pieces of parkland for individuals that have made a significant contribution to our organization's history and recognize them accordingly. I have two letters. The first one is from the Downtown Council. It's from Bill Dietrich, and I'll pass this on down. This is a request from the Downtown Council to name a park called Triangle Park. It's a small piece of land at West Penway and Southwest Boulevard. We've just kind of called it triangle because it's shaped like a triangle. And the request is to put Linda Callan's name on that. And I'll pass that on down. And this is work to kind of lay on the table, get it on the public record, and then we would do our due diligence to see if this is a proper recognition. And then we would come back in a future board meeting, at least a month, if not a little longer than a month, and give you our thoughts on how we should proceed on that. So that's the Linda Callan Triangle Park. The next one is coming from NNI, Northland Neighborhoods, Inc. It's signed by Darren Hennon, who's the current president of NNI. This is a request to name a park called Rock Creek Park, which is in the Northland, real close to North Kansas City Hospital. It's a little off the beaten path, but that's the name of the park, and this would be named in honor of Bill Skaggs, and that's the request. Former Councilman Bill Skaggs and also former state legislator Bill Skaggs. So there again, same process. We would do our due diligence.
Thanks for bringing those two before us. Yep. I'm looking forward to hearing what the due diligence yields.
Okay.
All right. Is there anything else? That's it. Okay. And with that, the meeting is adjourned.
Right over your shoulder.